Shanti, good afternoon. May the infinite Lord of life, of love, and of laughter bless you at this moment. May each cell of your being and each petal of your mind be touched, be healed, be harmonized. May vim, vigor, and vitality be yours. May love and laughter be yours. May you truly find that which you seek, and may you find that which you seek surely, swiftly, and most harmoniously. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I'd like to welcome you to the noon meditation at the temple here this afternoon. Today I'll be talking about yoga, gratitude, and giving thanks. I think this may be one of the more important meditations that I've given through the years. And hopefully the fates and the furies will be on my side and help me get the message across and help me get it across properly. If there was one human trait that you could improve, that you could depend on to make the world a better place, if there was one trait that I believe would be important to get across to the world, the trait, the concept would be that of gratitude, that of giving thanks. Kriyananda has talked often, frequently, about this life and about this life being a blessing. And it truly is a blessing. The vast majority of humanity doesn't realize that it's a blessing and how much of a blessing it is. And that's a problem. But in spite of that, between you and me, we have to know, we have to understand that this life is a blessing and that we need to be grateful for this great blessing that we have. To be here at this time, at this place, on this planet. As difficult as it is. And if somebody tells you it's not a difficult time in world history, their eyes aren't open. They're dead to the world. It is a very difficult place, and so it's very easy to say, what do I have to be grateful for? And that's what the problem is. That's the attitude. That's the natural instinct of man, of mankind, to say, what have you done for me lately? The gods, what have you done for me lately? The boss, what have you done for me lately? The wife, the spouse, what have you done for me lately? It's called ingratitude. And that attitude of ingratitude needs to be changed and flipped around to the attitude of gratitude. How about that? That's what I really should have named the meditation this morning, the attitude of gratitude. Attitude is all, and Kriyananda has said that over and over and over again. Attitude is all. And I tell you, in the world today, the attitude is upside down and backwards and inside out. Because for most of us, for most people, the attitude is, gimme, 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 me, my. Now, having said all of that, again, the fact is, between you and me, it's a golden opportunity, and it's a blessing with the things that are happening in the world today. The blessing is that you have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity in this lifetime, here and now, to grow and grow and grow spiritually, to mature mentally, psychologically, and spiritually, to mature on all levels, to grow on all levels. Just opportunity after opportunity is there. It seems like the world is coming after all of us. It's coming after you and me. It wants to control you and me. Or maybe I should say they want to control you and me. And of course, when I talk with friends and say that they are coming in, who's they? Who's that mysterious they? Well, I think you know who they are. And I think they know who they are. The people that I'm talking to know who they are. They just want me to say the words to clarify it. And of course, the they are is the media, the friends, the family, they want to change you. They think they're right, period. It's called Kali Yuga, the age of ignorance. And in this age of ignorance, most of the world, I want to say all the world, yeah, all the world means most of the world. English is a funny language. So all the world, which means most of the world, or most of the people in this world, think they're right, and not only do they think they're right, but their mind is closed. And that's spiritual death. To have a closed mind. I used to hear when I was younger, very young, 20s, in my 20s and teens and 30s and that, and every once in a while I'd meet an old fogey, like me now. I'm an old fogey now. But I'd meet an old fogey, and they would say to me, Ray, the older I get, the dumber I get. And the answer is, now I understand what they're saying. I understand fully what they're saying. I'm surprised. I wanted to say shocked, but I'm surprised at least at how much I thought I knew 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, what I thought I knew. And now, over the past few years, I've come to realize, holy Toledo, was I off base. Oh, my gosh. I wasn't wrong about everything, but I was wrong about a lot of things. A lot of things. And my eyes are opening up. They're opening up to the realization of how little I know. And how unaware that I am of what's going on in the world. And that is called spiritual growth. Or at least I hope it's spiritual growth. I think that's called maturing. And hopefully I'm maturing. Frequently, I'll walk through life, and in all honesty, as I walk through life and I see what's going on, and I watch the way the family, the friends, the media, the TV, when I say media, the TV, and now it's YouTube and the internet. And I have to garner all the strength that's within me, not to want to get angry. And that's important, because you can't get it. Anger doesn't do any good. Anger is just an emotion that, people will say, oh, it allows you to release your frustration. Well, that may be true. Well, a lot of times you do release your frustrations. However, in the release of those frustrations, a lot of times you create a lot of bad karma for yourself. And that's one of those things that I've learned in my old age. You get angry, you make mistakes. You say things that you shouldn't say. You do things that you shouldn't do. And you gotta laugh, you gotta smile, and you gotta walk away from the emotion and the emotionality and not let it get to you. And not only walk away from the negative emotions, the anger, the thought that goes through your mind. You want to pick someone up and just shake them and say, aren't you listening? Aren't you watching? Don't you see what's going on? And the problem is, they do see what's going on. They do know. They are watching, but they're watching from their viewpoint. And as I said in the beginning, their mind is closed. And so if you try and shake them, all they're going to say to them, see, all they're thinking is, see, you're proving my point. So the anger gets you nowhere in dealing with people. What you need to do is be happy, be joyful, and be positive. Always be positive. When that thought, that emotion comes into your head and it says, it's a trigger that says, it's time to vent your frustrations, that means it's time to, as Kriyananda would say, you lock the lips and you close your eyes and you move into your meditation. And there's a little technique that I've used over the decades, and it's a very simple technique. You're thinking something that in the gut of your being, you shouldn't be thinking. As a good yogi, you shouldn't be thinking that. And so you take and you close your eyes and you take that thought and you bring it up to the Ajna chakra, the sun center, and then you take and you put you draw a 5-pointed star. You go, so you just form a 5-pointed star, and you take that thought and put it in the center of that 5-pointed star, and then you shoot it up, and you shoot it up above the earth, above the solar system, above the galaxy, out of the universe. And you just let all of that energy dissipate out of the universe. And that's just a little technique that I've used throughout, like I said, over the past decades. It was something I learned from Kriyananda probably when I first started coming to the temple. It was one of the techniques that he gave. And like I said, I use it often. Whenever I feel that thought, or I think that thought, and it comes into my head, and then you say, neti, neti, neti. Neti means I am not that thought. I am not that thought. I am not this thought. I am not that thought. I am not thought. And then you come back, gain your composure, and smile and say, The world is as it is, and as the world is, it ought to be. And I am here for a reason, and I am grateful that I am here. I'm grateful that I'm able to interact with the people around me so that I can grow spiritually in leaps and bounds. And that's what happened. If you can stay away from the infighting, if you can stay away from the battles with the family, with the friends, with the neighbors, with whoever it is, with the TV or with the video, you hear them, you hear it on the video, and like that. And oh, nutty. And gratitude. Gratitude, there's two trinities in dealing with gratitude. The first divinity is called the divine trinity, or what I'm going to call it a divine trinity. And what the divine trinity is gratitude. If your gratitude, happiness will flow from that gratitude. And maybe I'm sticking my neck out a little bit, but I want to guarantee you that if you're grateful for what you have in this life, that gratitude will, in and of itself, and automatically lead you to a happier life. You will become happier. And the second thing is goodness. If you're grateful for what you have and what you have in life, that gratitude that you have will lead to a good life. It will lead to the good life. That's the divine trinity. Gratitude, happiness, goodness. Gratitude leads to happiness. Gratitude leads to goodness. It makes you a good person. If you're grateful to your parents, you become a good person. If you're grateful to your friends, it makes you a good person. If you're grateful to your enemies for teaching, your parents don't teach you, and your friends don't teach you. Your enemies teach you a lot. So be grateful for the enemies. Believe me, they teach you far more than the good guys. And then there's that's a trinity. It's a triangle, and the triangle, that's a triangle pointed upwards. That's divinity, moving you upwards towards an expanding awareness, expansive state of mind, and a happy and a good state of mind filled with gratitude. And then there's a second trinity, and this is a trinity which is a downward triangle. And these relate to the astral and physical. You can, if you want, relate them to the astral and physical world, where the triangle pointing up is more of an astral type of function, giving you the energy to move into the causal world. Because you got to get past the astral, really isn't a good place to be. You got to get up into the causal. And the triangle pointing up is what it's pushing you up into. But then you have the secular trinity. And the secular trinity, secular means of this world. It means not God, but the gifts of God. And Kriyananda used to say that over and over again. He looks around and he sees everybody walking around, and that nobody believes in God anymore. but they do believe in the gifts of God. Nobody wants God anymore. Everybody wants the gifts of God. And that was a great truth, and that is a great teaching. It was a great teaching as Kriyananda said it over and over again back years ago, decades ago, and it's a great teaching today. It's as true today as it is then, and maybe even I would say it's even more true today than it was back then. And that's one of those things. I thought I knew what it meant. I really did. But I've come to realize, actually over the past couple of weeks, it's starting to dawn on me that we don't want God. We want the gifts of God. There's a different, I'm hearing something different now when I hear those words, when I hear that saying. I used to think it was a religious thing, that it had something to do with God. It doesn't. It has to do with us being in this world. And something else Kriyananda said, I'm looking around and I'm seeing everybody taking up permanent residence on this planet. And by permanent residence, again, I'm assuming that what Kriyananda meant was not only for this life, but believing in reincarnation, that the next life and the next life and the life after that. There's no hurry. Take my time, not just in this life, but in future lives. Establish myself. And it's not. I'm starting to think it just has to do with the three biggies: anger, greed, and jealousy. And probably the big one in there is greed. People are greedy for money, but they're also greedy for power, and they're greedy for fame. And at all costs, at any cost. Get more money, get more power, get more fame. And fame, back when I was younger, fame means something different than today, because today you go on the YouTube, and if it goes viral, if it goes viral, millions and millions of people are seeing you. You've got your fame. You had to get on TV, I suppose, or write a book or something, I don't know, to get famous. In Hollywood, get to Hollywood if you wanted to be famous. But all of that is transitory. It's of this world. It's of this lifetime. And secularism has to do with this lifetime. That's why I'm saying it's different than what I thought before. I thought it was more expansive. It's something like greater, but no. Secularism deals with this world. In other words, I don't believe a lot of people really don't believe in God. They don't believe in heaven. They don't believe in an afterlife. They think this is it. So get it while you can. That in science today, in the last meditation I talked about this, and in science today, the belief is you're born, conceived, you have the conception, you're born, and at some time in that process, from insemination to birth, somewhere in there, and I really don't know what their belief is, this belief of the secularists is, but somewhere in there, your consciousness is created in that process. In other words, your consciousness, the Atma, whatever it is, the spirit that you are, is a function of two people in a sexual act, and some entity, something is created in the act, and for the first time that consciousness is there, pops into existence. And then that, whatever it is, the fetus grows, the baby is born, it lives its life, a year, 10 years, 100 years, or 120 years, or whatever the case might be. And when the body dies, the brain dies, the consciousness dies, and that's it. And that's secularism. That's what the belief is. And again, that leads to ingratitude, which is the secular trinity. And it's a triangle which is upside, which is the point pointing down. And pointing down means into this world. Its energy is linking you to this world, and it's getting to that point where your decision is to take up permanent residence in this world. That's when you link to this second triangle. Again, the secular triangle. And the one point is ingratitude at the bottom of the triangle. The other point on the triangle, there's a second point on the triangle, is cruelty. And the third point is unhappiness or sadness. Ingratitude leads to cruelty. Ingratitude leads to unhappiness, sadness. And that's the energy field I look around and I see so many people just locking into that triangle of ingratitude. And Kriyananda had a term for that. Maybe I should say yoga has a term for that. I say Kriyananda because that's where I heard it from. But it's really a yogic principle, and it's dealing with something beyond just one person. And the term that he used was Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga. That's the age where nobody wants God, they just want the gifts of God. And in my meditation, in my contemplation, my reflection, as I think about it, I am starting more and more to believe that the age of Aquarius is the coming into existence of the Kali Yuga, whenever the age of Aquarius began. And as you may or may not know, nobody really knows exactly what the date is. There's dates which are given and there's assumptions which are made. And not only that, but even Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar have talked about and linked Kali Yuga to the death of Krishna, and some saying that it lasted for 2,100 years or about 2,000 years. And then you move into the next stage, moving out of Kali Yuga, and there's an implication that things are starting to get better. And there's a truth in that. There's a truth in that because there's cycles within cycles. Because, yes, in that smaller cycle that exists, which would be 12,000 years, we are starting to move towards the golden age. However, there is a larger cycle, and Kriyananda always referred to it, and most of the time he referred to it as, which was 432,000 year cycle. And that's what the beginning is. That's where we're moving into the Kali Yuga of that particular cycle. And so you need to fasten your seatbelts and prepare for the ride, and use the good karma that you have to prepare yourself for the future, for the whichever one is correct. Whether we're moving towards the golden age, okay, moving towards the golden age, or if we're in the Kali Yuga of the larger cycle, and we've got a long, long way to go in terms of our particular lifetimes. But it's important to have that attitude of gratitude. Be grateful that you've stumbled on, like I'm so grateful that I was able to stumble into by accident this idea of yoga. I stumbled into the Temple of Kriya Yoga. Here I am, and why was I so fortunate? Being able to meet Shelley G. Why was I so fortunate? Being associated with the Kriya lineage, Yogananda, Sri Yukteswar, Larry Mahasha Babaji, the whole lineage. That's kind of, I think about it, it's kind of mind-blowing. Wow. I'm part of that whole system, and it's something to be very grateful for if you're a part of it. And if you maintain that quality of gratefulness, if you can maintain that attitude of gratitude, what you'll find is that without effort, just being grateful, just the motions, going through the motions of being grateful, in the mental motions, along with the physical reactions of those mental emotions, to be grateful for what you have, you will automatically become happier. I always used to say, and I think it's from Plato, some reference to Plato, he said, happiness is a way of life. And I think all of us are trying to be happy. Remember, all means most. I know some people don't want to be happy, but let's deal with the bigger number. So that attitude of gratitude, and we have to have that. And if you have that attitude of gratitude, you will automatically become happier. You will automatically become a more good person. You'll become a better person. And we should always be striving for that. I want to be a better person in this world and even beyond this world. And you'll be a kinder person. And you wake up in the morning and you open your eyes, and you, if you're like me, you get out of bed a little bit slower than you used to, and you say, wow, I'm really fortunate for what I have. I'm really fortunate for the people I've met in my life. I'm really fortunate for the people, good or bad, that I've met in my life, and for the experiences that I've had. And I'm grateful for the good experiences that I've had, and I'm even more grateful for the bad experiences that I've had. And I've had a ton of those. I reflect on my life frequently and think back frequently about events that I've had happen in my life, and there are things I just shake my head and say to myself, oh boy, how did I, how could I have ever said that? How could I have ever done that? What a dum-dum. And I got a lot of those moments. So, but those are the learning moments. It's the learning moments, and those are the moments when you grow. When you do things right, it's hard to grow. When you do things wrong, it's much easier to grow. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that it works that way, but that's the way it works. We learn faster through the pain than we do through the pleasure. And by the way, I'm trying to take the other route. I'm trying to start to do more things right so that I can learn from the pleasures of life, and not to have to learn from the painful things in life. And I'd like to close with one other thought having to do with great gratitude and being grateful, being a better person, being a good person, being a kinder person, and being grateful for the people that you've met, being grateful for, again, the family members, the friends, the teachers, the co-workers, the people that we've met along the way in our life. And then, for whatever reason, a thought just popped into my mind. I remember Rocky and Shanti. Those are two cats. And what they brought into my life, and the gratitude I have, even for the little critters. Most people, I think, have dogs. If you have a dog, be thankful to the dog for the happiness that he or she has brought to you, that it has brought to you. Maybe you have a parrot, what the parrot brought to you. Maybe you have a horse, if you're fortunate. Be happy the great fortune that whatever the critter might be in your life that's brought happiness or allowed you to be a little bit happier and to become a better person. And then think back what you had in your life, and you could do one of two things. You literally, if there's someone that in your life you've met, you've run into, that they did something, there was something they did or something that they said that had an impact on your life, and you've gone through your life, and now it could be 20, 40, 60 years later, and you start to think back and you say, wow, I remember that teacher that I had and what that teacher did for me. Gosh, I wish I could say thank you. Maybe you can. Maybe there's a way to track down the person, find an address or something, and just write a note. I remember I had you in high school, and it was very meaningful for me. And, send a little note to the person, if they're still here. If not, still write the note. Still sit at the desk, write the note. write the address, R.I.P. if they're not with us anymore, and send it astrally to the person. If you do it, I promise you, they'll get the message. They will. That's my technique for the meditation this afternoon. May the infinite Lord of life, of love, and of laughter bless you at this moment. May each cell of your being and each petal of your mind be blessed, be healed, be harmonized. May vim, vigor, and vitality be yours. May love and laughter be yours. May you truly find that which you need, that which you seek. And may you find that which you seek surely, swiftly, and most harmoniously. Om Shanti, Shanti,